Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Up to Speed Live today, this Friday, this Juneteenth. What a very special day we have today. I'm Diana Alvear, and I'm one of the newest V-Teamers on the team. I'm so proud to be here. It is my privilege to be hosting today on Juneteenth. And it feels like a different Juneteenth to everybody with everything going on in the world. There is movement, there's motivation. This has been a week of action for all of our V-Teamers, including my team led by Steve Van Dinter. So proud to do a virtual walk on Wednesday with my teammates all over the country. And we also want to shout out some other V-Teamers. We've got Tiffany Joy Organza for her inspiring Instagram posts. She took a virtual walk as well. And then most importantly, she posted Verizon social action cards that promote taking action alongside Michelle Miller. She also did the same, taking some action, talking about the things that she's done to promote these kinds of conversations. And Leanne Lemire. Let's take a look at Leanne's as well. What have you done to combat racial injustice? Just incredible conversations and actions taking place this week. We see you, we stand with you, and we encourage the rest of you to use these Verizon social action cards to empower and encourage others to do the same. Now we're going to turn to Hans for his thoughts on all of the action taking place this week, as well as some updates. Hans?
Thanks, Diana, and hi all V-Teamers. Great to see you all out there. I hope you're safe and healthy. And talking about safe and healthy, I think the number one priority through this pandemic that we have right now is, of course, the health and safety of all the V-Teamers. We continue to slowly open more and more stores, but with all the rules, regulations, and principles that we have decided to keep the safety for us, but also for our customers. The same goes for all the frontline workers in our NNT organization that is doing the same, and I have to thank them all, because not only are we keeping up the network very well, but we're also doing a lot of new installations, and the innovation we have seen in the frontline employees there has been just amazing. So thank you very much for that. We have also continued to work with the return to office this week, and Christy has shared with you how we're now working slowly back, but always with a safe and healthy for all the V-Teamers in the highest priority. So we will continue to do that. That's how important it is to us, and I think we have managed it well so far, so please continue to do it. Think about all the social distancing, masks and all of that we have preached for a long time right now, when all the countries are starting to open up, and the states in the United States are opening up more and more. Just keep that in mind. When it comes to the network, Kyle and the team are doing a great job. You know, the network is keeping up well, and we don't see so much changes on traffic right now. More coming back to some more sort of historical levels, even though we still see surge on data when it comes to collaboration and video tools and all of that. But also on the network side, we have announced this week, or last week, we announced next 5-year home city, Detroit. And today, or earlier this week, we actually announced the Lenovo laptop on 5G millimeter wave. That's the first in the world. There's another first. We like to be first, and I thank the team for always trying to be the first on 5G. I also want to say on the network side or the product side, it was great to see that our Blue Jeans friends earlier this week announced that they have new product features coming out in the product already now. So I'm happy to have them on, and they seem to doing well. I talked to a lot of customers, and many of the customers talk about Blue Jeans right now. So that's a great time. So priority 2, of course, the network up. And it's working well, and that has been working well. On the society side, where we have decided to be very responsible in these times, we have done a lot of things the last week, as you have seen. Everything from food for the frontliners. We added cities there, El Paso and Chula Vista. We also have been working with supporting women-owned businesses. This is an initiative from Verizon Business Group to mentor, to have conversation and support them. And many of them are small and medium businesses, which are the most vulnerable businesses out there at the moment with with economical downturn and all of that. So this is an important work that Tammy and her team is doing in order to support them. Another thing on the society side, which is so important to us, it's the Pride Month. And we had a very important decision earlier this week when it comes to the Supreme Court taking the decision on LGBTQ+. And what that means, of course, that it's good for Verizon because diversity and inclusion for us is the most important or a very important core value for us. And it's important for the United States. So we think that was a good sort of celebration on the Pride Month to have that decision from the Supreme Court. And finally, they also worked a lot with a climate pledge that we did also last week when it comes to us taking a stance on the Paris Agreement, which is about taking down the carbon emission in the world. And we should do our work, and we join Amazon and other companies in that pledge to see that we secure the Paris Agreement. So all that is basically thinking about the four stakeholders: employees, then customers, and then society. And of course, if we do all this right, our shareholders is also going to get their fair share. I talked to a lot of the investors about how we're running the company in this pandemic and our priorities. And that's important for them to understand. We do this for long-term positive impact for all our stakeholders. So that's how we work. Another thing that I just want to mention is that today is the 19th of June, or Juneteenth, as it's called. That's a commemoration of the end of slavery in the United States. I hope that this time is the end of the pain that has been for centuries, and that we now have meaningful progress. As has been shared earlier this week by Christy and by Rose, we encourage you and support you to be part of and support the racial and social injustice initiatives which are happening across the company and across the country. And we as a company, we just need to continue our conversation. The conversation that is happening across the company, I couldn't be happier to see them happening. They are painful, they are difficult, but it starts by listening and having this conversation about the racial injustice in order for us to be a better company, for us to talk to others, and then, of course, replicate that. And we are a large corporation. We have a big responsibility here. I myself is also engaging externally in the Business Roundtable, for example, where you have the 150 largest companies, where we are talking about this and what should be the stance of all the larger corporations, and we are formulating that. So we need to work on all fronts, and we need meaningful progress and meaningful actions in these times. And I thank all the V-teamers for how you have engaged in this time and opened this discussion. That's the most important, and now the actions are coming. We're also starting the next 20 series. That's a series where we invite youth to talk about how they engage in social issues. And we have had our first event. It's going to be more coming the weeks to come. But it's another way for us to engage in this conversation on how you engage in social issues that we have out there. So all in all, very busy last couple of weeks here. We have been working as a leadership team. We're very much focused on our priorities, on the crisis that we have in front of us, but we also work with business as usual in order to come out stronger as a company out of this. So once again, remember, it's safe and healthy for all of you V-teamers out there. That is the main priority. And then we have everything else we're doing. And I thank you all for doing the great work. And back to you, Diana.
Hans, thank you so much. And of course, as you said it, we are stronger together, and we have so much to celebrate today, this Friday. We'd like to congratulate three absolutely incredibly inspiring women leaders. We have Elise Neal, Krista Bourne, and Nikki Palmer. These three won 3 out of 8 Weekle Awards. And not only that, finalists Wendy Tusetta and Aparna Kurjakar, they also were finalists in the Weekle Awards. So these women are changing the world, and we are so happy and proud to have them leading our V team. Also, some big news from the Supreme Court yesterday to note that protected the nation's dreamers, and we, Verizon, stand with our dreamers. We are inspired, we're motivated, and very, very happy to celebrate this decision. All right, so now here comes another great part of today's show. We are happy to welcome back Ram Jean-Louis, from Verizon Media Group. Very impressive. He is the Global Head of Diversity and Inclusion at Verizon Media Group. And Ram, we have so much to talk about today. I want to jump right in and talk about Juneteenth because, you know, it feels so different this year. We are talking about Juneteenth. We are celebrating. So tell me a little bit about what Juneteenth means to you.
Hi, Diana. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here. This has been a really great week with regards to decisions coming out of the Supreme Court. So having, leading up to Juneteenth, it's really great to be here and to have this conversation. With regards to Juneteenth, what it means to me, it's a very special time to just take a look and reflect on our history, to take a look at how far we've come, the progress that we've made, but also the fact that there's still a tremendous amount of work that we still need to do. But Juneteenth in particular, if we double click and do a deep dive, slaves were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862. So Juneteenth is actually June 19th of 1865. So 3 years passed after they were legally free before that was actually communicated to all of the slaves. And I think that there's a tremendous amount of learning that we can get from that. And, that learning is, if you take a look at the gaps around the Emancipation Proclamation. So it was announced, there were gaps around the communication, when that communication got to all of the slaves, and then the actions that actually supported how do we enforce this law. And I think, that's kind of the model that we're looking at now. We're having these great conversations, as Hans mentioned, and we have been empowered to take the action that actually enforces, these conversations and reinforce them. So very happy to be celebrating Juneteenth with my family and also taking a look at, the tragedies that we've just experienced with the murders of Rayshard Brooks, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, to again reflect the fact that we've made progress. But when you're faced with these tragedies and with these murders, it's very sobering. There's a lot more that we need to do. So the fact that we're taking this time as a nation and as a world to really recognize how, there's been historical context in terms of these tragedies and what's been taking place and all the things that's been impacting the African-American community. So to take time, look at it, reflect, really think about how slavery, how Jim Crow, how separate and equal, how red line districting had an impact on the African-American community. And, again, what are the actions that we're going to take to really make sure that we stand shoulder to shoulder with everyone to make sure that we work towards the change that we all seek.
Absolutely. And I want to take a moment to talk a little bit about some of the conversations that we've been having in the workplace. I mean, I have never seen this before in all of my years in a corporate setting where we are hearing about so much pain and we are witnessing and reflecting and honoring that and bringing that into a corporate setting. And you yourself have shared some of your stories. So tell me, what is the benefit to having these kinds of conversations in a corporate environment where we have never gone in this territory before?
Diana, you're absolutely right. It's a very, very big deal, and it's something that I'm really humbled about and honored and excited that we're having these conversations. The model that we want to use to move forward is hope, empathy, advocacy, and action. This is where the empathy comes in. By having these conversations, by learning from one another, we're able to learn, to connect, to grow, and figure out what is our path forward. So these conversations are very important. And, I'm also the first to say, as a diversity and inclusion person, the diversity and inclusion discipline has failed with this respect. We've never had these conversations before. You would think that in the space of diversity and inclusion, we'd be the first one to lead the conversations around racism. Traditionally, we have not, because we haven't been able to have these conversations in the workplace. At most, talking about racism has been more of a footnote with regards to talking about unconscious bias training. What I really love about having these courageous conversations and having these safe space conversations is that we're learning directly from our employees what steps we need to take. What is it that we need to do? They are informing our strategy. What they've told us is that we appreciate the unconscious bias training. They appreciate the conscious inclusion training and the ally training and the gender ID pronoun. But they're like, you know what else we need? We need anti-racism training. And it can't just be for us. We need everybody to go through it. We need to be in those sessions with our managers and with our leaders. And that's what we're working on now. So I'm only one part of a very large diversity and inclusion team and a larger human resource team. And we are diligently working to really keep up with the demand right now. We have been invited to so many team meetings, all hand meetings to come and help facilitate these courageous conversations. And we welcome the ask. We want to come in and have that conversation because, again, it's not only do we want to do this and facilitate this ourselves, we want to model the behavior that we want our managers and leaders to have with their teams to really drive continued inclusion and keep this conversation going.
Oh, absolutely. And you call them courageous conversations, and they absolutely are. I mean, to see them happening in the finance department and the legal department and all these places where these kinds of things are not normally discussed, and to really put some action behind the word diversity and racial justice and social justice is just so inspiring. And I really hope that we're at a point in our history where we make some real progress. So let's turn to something else that has to do with progress, and that's the census. The census is very important to Verizon this year. Let's talk a little bit about the BOLD event and why it's so important.
So the BOLD event is very important because we're going to talk about the census, the importance of the census and the importance of voter registration. You know, the approach that we're taking is it's really about education, registration, and mobilization. With all the changes that we want to see take place, we understand that we need the right politicians. We need to make sure that our vote is counted. The census helps us do that. The census actually dictates what takes place with regards to budgets, resources, and even how voting takes place within our different districts. So we're excited that we're going to be having a couple of events today. We have one between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. where we are having a couple of people in to talk about the census. We have Nicole Yearwood of the U.S. Census Bureau representative. We have James Woodall of the NAACP, and we're also going to be revealing a $5,000 donation that we'll be making, and super excited that we're going to have Ronan Dunn joining us so that he can listen, learn, and also offer his thoughts and his insights.
So exciting. So another thing that we've learned these past several months is that it's almost impossible to separate work from family. I mean, everything's kind of blending together now, and I know how much you love being a dad. So Ram, let's talk a little bit about your boy and what fatherhood means to you, because we're going into Father's Day weekend. I want to know, especially please touch on how the events that are happening right now are informing your relationship and your conversations with your son.
Man, it's being a dad is the greatest thing. Everything that we're doing, everything that we're working towards, it's to make the world a better place. We can't leave it all on our children. I appreciate the fact that, you know, our kids kind of see things differently. We're instilling some great values in them, but we can't leave all the work for them. So how can we make the world a better place? And the conversations that I've been having, they've been very difficult conversations. And I think my pastor kind of gave some guidance to help. And my pastor told me, if your children are old enough to form the question, then they're old enough for you to tell them the truth. And I was like, wow, that was absolutely amazing. One of the questions my son asked me after we had a chance to watch the video of George Floyd's murder, he wanted to know, how come America is not like the song? And that question completely blew my mind. The fact that he was even able to kind of formulate that and ask that question. And I needed to come up with a response quickly. And what I shared with him was that, you know, when you take a listen to the song and to our anthem, you know, all of that is a promise. It's a promise of how great this country can be. And it's all of our responsibilities for us to move forward together and to work together so that we're able to achieve that promise. It's being a dad is the best thing. He's helped me through this process as well. We've been there and we've been supporting each other. So some of the pictures that was just showing on the air was he recently turned 11. His birthday was March 10th. And it's been an interesting time. We were planning a birthday party for him during the middle of a global pandemic. The invitations had already gone out and people were calling us to say, so is the party still scheduled? So that was probably one of the last events that we had before everybody went into shelter in place. So I'm glad that we were able to celebrate his birthday that way. And he's an amazing son, amazing kid. We all have amazing children. I'm excited that we're all going to be able to do our part to make this world a better place.
You know, I can feel the pride when you're talking about him and the pride you take in being a father. And it's so hard. I mean, I feel like it's been so much harder these past few months navigating this new terrain. But you know what, Ram? I'm so hopeful that we actually are building a better world for them. And the kids are leading us. Let me tell you, the kids are leading the way when it comes to the progress that we're making. So just any last thoughts for your fellow dads, any advice you have before you leave the show right now?
Sure. Enjoy Father's Day. Really take that moment to unplug, spend it with your children, spend it with the kids, and instill all of those great values that we've been able to get from our parents, our grandparents, and from our ancestors. Whenever we can share history with them, that would be great. We do have those great events going on that Bold is putting on, so we're super excited. If you want to participate in that, feel free to do that. I mentioned the one at 1 p.m. We have another one at 6 p.m. as well. And also want to just give a huge shout out to our employee resource groups. They have been absolutely amazing. We've been navigating 3 different crises in terms of the global pandemic, the financial crisis, and the racial crisis as well. Our ERGs, if you want to know what allyship means, look to our ERGs. They've been great supporting each other, supporting what we're doing from a diversity and inclusion perspective, and supporting the company just overall. So big shout out to our diversity and inclusion team and to our ERGs. Thank you all for all that you do, and have a wonderful Father's Day.
I know you've been working so hard, Ram, so I really hope that you are able to enjoy yourself and relax this weekend with your son. Thank you so much for joining us and being my first ever guest on Up to Speed Live. Take care of yourself.
Take care.
Thank you so much. And as Ram mentioned, I want to again point out that at 1 p.m., the Bold Census Day event is happening. And later tonight at 6, we have our Bold Juneteenth Census celebration over on HuffPost.com. And of course, I love talking about fatherhood with the great V-teamers we have around here. And we want to highlight another incredible V-team dad that we have, John Asmussen. He's a key part of our network partnership team in Northern California. And in his spare time, John coaches his daughter's soccer teams. He serves as board president of Rage. That is one of the largest all-girls soccer clubs in the country. The club's mission is to develop girls into leaders through sport and community service projects. Well, they also raise thousands of dollars for cancer research. Well, the city of Pleasanton faced a budget shortfall. Of course, lots of places having these kinds of problems, and they were going to be building a new community sports complex. Well, John stepped up. He co-led a $1.3 million fundraising effort to complete the project. And so for embracing the credo on the job and off, John, you were named a Purpose Coin champion. We are so proud of you. Congratulations, and a big happy Father's Day wish to you and all the other dads out there. And speaking of which, we couldn't leave you without having some fatherly advice from some V-team dads of our own. So if you want to know how to be a better dad and what fatherhood means to our V-team, take a listen right now.
Hey V-team, happy Father's Day.
A father means so much.
Being a father means to me, in a word, responsibility.
As a dad, we wear many hats.
I need to be the example of what it is I want them to become.
It also means being a bug killer.
Being a shoulder for them to cry on.
Dance dad.
Teaching them right from wrong.
Chauffeur.
A protector.
And basically the person that gets to answer the why question.
And, at the end of the day, helping them find whatever the passion is in their life.
My favorite Father's Day memory is every year we pack up the camper, we head out into the woods, and we just experience life together as a family.
We breakfast at my favorite spot, we play golf during the day, and watch movies in the evening.
A couple of years ago, we went to Disney. We went on a water ride over and over and over again and had such an incredible time.
My favorite Father's Day memory has to be all the self-made cards that I get.
Each and every Father's Day, my wife and my boys, they make little personalized gifts, that come from them.
One year, they created a collage of a whole bunch of pictures.
My daughter creates just a wonderful card that everybody signs.
Allison still makes me a homemade card, which I love.
If I could give one piece of advice to my fellow V-team dads, it would be make the time.
Enjoy every moment.
The time goes by so quickly.
Just really cherish them to the fullest.
Don't take everything so serious.
You guys, you got this.
In the end, knowing that you are there for it all is worth its weight in gold.
Find ways to celebrate your day during this difficult time in our lives.
All of us unexpectedly being together as a family for these past 3 months has really been a blessing.
Be safe, spend time with your kids, spend time with your family, and happy
Father's Day, V-Team.
And happy Father's Day to
all the V-Team dads.
Have an incredible day with your family.
My absolute favorite part of that video is just seeing the pride in everybody's eyes, and they talk about their favorite memories and how much they love their kids and what kind of advice they have. It is so hard to be a dad, and all of you V-Teamer dads are making it look so easy and fun, and we're so proud to have you all on the team. So I wish all of you a happy Father's Day. And hey, we want to hear about your good weekend. If you're taking part in some fun activities with your kids, making memories, make sure you take some photos and videos and send them to the good@verizon.com mailbox. If you're celebrating Juneteenth, we want to see that too. All of these really incredible memories, we want to share them with everybody on Up to Speed Live. There's so much to celebrate right now. There's so much good stuff happening. There's so much coming together. And we really want to highlight that good that's happening. So again, that mailbox is good@verizon.com. We want to hear from you. Stay safe, make time for fun. And of course, we will see you Monday. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for the past half an hour. And until next time, you're up to speed.